Well, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and everyone from your employers to your therapists to your friends and your family are telling you to do self-care. And especially as we talk about employers encouraging their employees to take self-care so that they don't burn out and can keep working productively, I think we need to talk a little bit about the mental health implications of self-care, what it really means and what it really doesn't mean. Hey everyone, my name is Isaiah. I am a licensed professional counselor, and today, as part of Mental Health Awareness Month, we are going to talk about self-care, what that really means, how we can do it, and what it can really do for us as people, not just as employees and workers. And for this Mental Health Awareness Month, we are doing some giveaways. If you donate to a mental health nonprofit organization, DM the receipt to me. The links will be in the description below, and you'll be entered to win a prize at the end of the month. So in addition to that, please like and subscribe, support the channel, help us to continue making content like this to help people along in their mental health journeys for advocacy and for awareness. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So what is self-care really about? I think a lot of employers talk about doing self-care so that their employees don't have to take mental health days, don't get burned out, and they can stay productive, and the companies can continue reaping the benefits. A similar kind of situation in schools and universities where they tell students to take self-care so that they don't have students dropping out or medically withdrawing, things like that. And that's kind of a twisted way of looking at self-care. So from a mental health standpoint, what we're talking about with self-care is about resiliency. When I talk to my clients about resiliency and self-care, I ask them to imagine a rubber band. And so a rubber band can stretch and it can contract, and that's what we think about with resiliency. Human beings are very resilient, so we can be stretched pretty far before anything bad happens. Rubber bands can do the same thing, but what happens is that in our day and age, we're being stretched in so many different directions and for such a long period of time that over time, sometimes that rubber band loses its ability to bounce back, to snap back. It loses its shape, its elasticity, and that's when we start noticing things like burnout or feeling anxious all the time or worried all the time. That resiliency has been stretched to the point where it just doesn't bounce back the same way. And so when we talk about self-care, just in really general terms, like having a spa day or having this big vacation at the end of the year, having one big self-care day once a year doesn't accomplish the purpose of allowing that rubber band to retain its former elasticity and its ability to bounce back in terms of our mental health. So we can think about our resiliency in terms of our physical health too. So let me use this example. If you're an athlete or just have kind of the normal wear and tear of going about life, you can think about those big one-off self-care days or huge vacations while you're grinding the rest of the year as like getting a surgery to fix some problem that you had. And so what that do is that might set you on a course to be okay for a while, but if nothing about your other patterns change, maybe you're lifting with the wrong form and you're injuring your back that way, or maybe you're not allowing yourself time to recover in between workouts, maybe your nutrition is terrible. If you have your surgery and don't change any of those other things that created the need for the surgery in the first place, then you're just gonna end up in the same place because you haven't changed any of the patterns that got you to that point in the first place. And so what we're talking about with self-care is actually changing the habits, and this is where self-care is actually a lot tougher than companies and schools might sell it as. It's not just taking one day off, but actually changing the way we approach work. So if you think about the physical health analogy, we're talking about maybe you need to change your nutrition, change what you eat. Maybe it is being more intentional about mobility and recovery exercises instead of just going hard every single day. Maybe it's signing up for personal training so that you can learn to lift with proper form. There's an investment involved in that kind of physical health maintenance, just the same that there is with self-care and mental health maintenance. And so what does that mean when we're talking about self-care with my clients as a pattern of regular maintenance and recovery? This is where we start having to look at priorities, because with a lot of our different responsibilities, everything wants to be put first. An after school activity, whether it's a sport, whether it's academics or your job, with any of those things, or like, talking about families, everything wants to be first priority for you. And we as humans just cannot do that. We have limited capacity, which is nothing wrong in and of itself, but when we, for extended periods of time, try to stretch ourselves past that limit. That's when that rubber band starts to lose its shape, starts to lose its elasticity. There are absolutely times where I have students who have a sprint for a couple of months around AP exams or around finals time, or they're just busy periods in work. But are you allowing yourself to scale back in those times when it's not necessary? So for some of my clients, the conversation is around maybe there are some things we need to eliminate, maybe there are some things we need to intentionally not prioritize. And for the parents that I work with, I talk about, imagine like you're juggling a bunch of balls. For a lot of parents, we feel like if we drop any of them, it's the end of the world, whether it's work, children, kids' activities, their future education, our own wellness, getting things done around the house. There's a lot to juggle. And the image that I use is that some of these balls are made of glass and some of them are made of rubber. And what that means is that the glass balls have to be kept in the air. If we drop any of those, that's done. And so those might be some of our non-negotiable things. For every family, it's different. And for some parents, it's time with my kids. That cannot be compromised. For some others, it might be their education. We cannot let up on that. And then so I talk about, okay, what are the rubber balls? What are the ones that we can drop and it'll be okay? It's not going to shatter. It might be annoying that we have to pick it up later on, but it's fine if it does drop. And maybe that is having a clean house sometimes. Maybe there are just seasons where that's not the most important thing. Maybe it's their year-round sport. Maybe if they're not able to make it to the 3 practices a week, it's not the end of the world. And so this is where self-care is actually really difficult because it requires a change in our mindset and our approach to achievement or having the perfect family or having the good life, and recognizing that we're limited in certain capacities and we don't have the time, we don't have the energy, and we're burning ourselves out trying to have everything. Being able to scale back, being able to make those hard choices is a form of self-care so that we actually have periods of rest. And this is the other hard piece, is that self-care is not scrolling through your phone. Self-care is not being mindless. There are times when that feels good, but that is not necessarily the most helpful thing for our mental health. Self-care sometimes means making tough choices like I'm going out to take a walk, or I'm going to exercise, or I'm going to have a healthy meal, which are not the most enjoyable or pleasurable things, but can actually be more helpful for us long term. And so if I can go back to the physical health analogy, I love to work out, and doing a mobility workout doesn't feel the same for me. It doesn't feel the same kind of challenge, and it doesn't feel as good for me in terms of feeling like I got a good workout in. But I have to recognize that that's important for me to do, and I have to make the hard choice to actually do that so that my body can stay right. And if we go back to the rubber band imagery, what we're talking about with self-care is intentionally giving time for the rubber band to sit in its relaxed state. So a lot of times when we're under stress, when we're anxious about something, when we have all these tensions and responsibilities, we are in a sympathetic nervous system activated state. We're in fight or flight. And a lot of times we go for months in that state, and it wasn't designed to go on like that. It's resource intensive. It shuts down certain parts of our system that we need to function. Self-care is sometimes about activating the parasympathetic, which is the off switch for that fight or flight response. You can call it the rest and digest response, and allows us to grow and recover and heal. And if we're always go, go, go in that fight or flight, then we don't give our bodies a chance to recover, our systems a chance to heal. And so that might mean mindfulness activities, things that allow us to be in the moment without added pressure, not evaluating or judging our feelings in the moment, and just allowing ourselves to be. Spending time with family can also be a restful thing. And of course, all of those things can turn into another responsibility that we have to juggle. And so that's why self-care is really challenging, to make sure we are approaching it with a healthy attitude instead of just something else that we need to check off of our list because that's what we should do. So let's talk about, what if I'm already burned out? What if I've gotten to the point where my rubber band has snapped and I'm trying to put the pieces together? I would encourage anyone who feels like they're in that place, find a mental health care professional to be able to talk through some of that stuff. It may require a lot of commitment in terms of changing our priorities, scaling things back. And I've talked to other parents who felt like, yeah, it's really hard to scale back once you've got like 2 kids in multiple sports. Like if you've said yes to a lot of things and then those things grow to become even bigger time commitments, it's hard to say no. So maybe having those conversations with your spouse or with your counselor, just about, okay, how do I really decide what's important to me, what things can go and what things can we scale back on? And then also talking through with your kids maybe, or with your spouse, how do we say no to things? How can we schedule time in the day to not be doing something? How can we foster rest and relaxation into our daily pattern? So how can we allow our systems to not work as hard all the time? And this is very counterintuitive. This is very countercultural to that kind of grinding culture where we should be working all the time. We should be monetizing every hobby that we do, and everything should be moving forward to getting to the professional level when we're talking about sports or any other kind of activity. It's a very hard shift in mindset to make. And so I do want to acknowledge that. And I think the main point of this video is that self-care is not easy. It is not just taking a vacation. It is not just having a spa day once in a while. Those things can be self-care, but if we go back to the physical health example, that might be having a surgery without changing any of the habits that led to that point in the first place where you needed that kind of extreme intervention. So everyone, thank you so much for checking out this video. Like I said, I do want to acknowledge that self-care is difficult and it is more layered and complex than just taking a day off once in a while. But like I said, as we're talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, and the importance of self-care and mental health for people, please do participate in this giveaway. I am doing this to encourage all of my viewers and subscribers to be able to support mental health awareness in this month. So if you donate to a mental health nonprofit, DM that receipt to me and I will enter you into the giveaway at the end of the month. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.